Hi, and welcome to this tech tutorial on mail merge. With a quick Google of what is mail merge, you can see that mail merging is the automatic addition of names and addresses from a database. You can use it to merge those names into letters and envelopes. You can also use it for awards or name tags. The list really kind of goes on and on and on for whatever you might want to add names and addresses to. And it makes sending things out or advertising or doing things to many addresses or many names much easier than doing it handwritten. And mail merge happens with just a few clicks of the button. So you can see even from the Google search that you can use mail merge to create and print letters. And then there are also lots and lots of tutorials out there on how to mail merge. So I don't want you to think that your information on mail merging ends with this tutorial. I'm going to get you started with mail merging though by showing you pretty basic steps of mail merging. And when you mail merge, you have to have two things. The first thing is you have to have a spreadsheet. Now, Excel is still probably the most popular #1 running spreadsheet creator. And so if you look here in my folder, I have a spreadsheet for us. That's the #1 ingredient for mail merging. The second thing that you want to have is something that you want to merge those names or addresses into. And it really can be a wide variety of things. I've used mail merging for labels for folders. I've used it to create the cover pages that go in front of binders. I've used it to create name tags that go on desks. I've used it to create small labels with encouraging words on it to put onto water bottles before students take I-STEP or NWEA or anything else like that. So the list of what you can merge into goes on and on and on and on. But for the most part, you're probably going to want to either have a Word document or a publisher document to merge into. And so I've got examples of both of those. But to get started, the two ingredients are the spreadsheet and whatever you want to merge into. Now, before I show you the actual clicks that it takes to merge, I want to show you a few things about the documents that I have. So the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and open up my spreadsheet. And I've kind of pre-made one for us to practice with. And so if you notice here, I have the first name and the last name. I've learned after years and years and years of having to go back and redo it that it really is helpful to have the first name in a separate column than the last name. So go ahead and if you already have a spreadsheet, you're going to want to separate those out. And there are some few easy steps for separating that without retyping it all. Contact me if you need more information. But then after that, your columns really can have any kind of information that you want to keep. What I do is at the beginning of the year, when I first get my class list, I go ahead and start a spreadsheet and I put all their first names and all their last names in the spreadsheet. And then as I collect data throughout the year, I always go back to the same spreadsheet for that. So if you notice, I have NWEA data in the same spreadsheet that I would keep birth date data, or that I would keep fun awards data, or sometimes I keep their favorite color in here just if I want to surprise them with something. It really is whatever kind of data or information you keep on your students that's useful to you. I would highly recommend you always keep it in one spreadsheet. Another thing I might want to point out is some of it is just typed text. So I typed this score of 195 in here, and then some of it is formulas. So if you look, this 35 is actually a formula that equals E4, so this number, minus C4, so this number. And so it's actually calculating the growth for me. But even if you use formulas in your spreadsheet, you won't have any trouble with merging. Birth dates can go in there, class awards. So once again, Excel is very flexible. You won't run out of space. I could be assigned millions of students in one class and still have plenty of rows that I could add into. I could also, come up with millions of different text that or columns that I wanted to fill in to keep adding data for my students, and I'm never going to run out. So one spreadsheet is more than enough for any group of students or anything that you're collecting data on. So this is kind of what my spreadsheet looks like. Now notice you can come on in here and add your own. And so this can keep growing. This can keep growing. This is what my spreadsheet looks like, and this is how it's set up. You do always want your headers across the top and your data going down. And that's what that looks like. Okay, so then I'm going to close that one. And I'm going to show you my form letter. So a form letter is something that's pretty usual for merging into. And you'll notice a few little different things on my mail or on my form letter that helps me with my mail merge. So this form letter is not mail merged yet. It's not set up to do it. It is really just text. And when I typed this in, I just put 4 pluses in there. You'll notice you see the 4 pluses all the way through my letter. And that's really just to catch my eye and remind me that this is where I want data from my spreadsheet to go. And so you'll notice I want the name. Now I could decide to put the first name and the last name or just the first name, but right here I definitely want a name. Down here, I want how many points they grew in literacy. And right here, I want how many points they grew in math. And then down here, I want to add in each of their scores for literacy, spring, for fall, winter, and spring. So if you look at this, you can tell if I was to hand type a letter like this for each child, it would take me quite a bit of time. But with MailMerge, it's going to be pretty simple. So the first thing we want to do is we want to go to mailings and select recipients. So as soon as you go to mailings, you're going to see select recipients. And I'm going to say use an existing list. Now, this existing list is that spreadsheet that I've already shown you. So when I click use existing list, it comes back and it lets me search. I happen to put that on my desktop and it's called Mail Merge. So there it is. And here is the spreadsheet. Now notice it looks like something's missing, but when I'm in Word, the only things it's going to recognize are other Word documents or this spreadsheet. That's the only 2 things I could pull in merged information from. And so that's why you don't see the publisher on there, but I promise it's still there. So I'm going to go ahead and pick practice spreadsheet. And when I click open, it asks me which sheet I'm on. And so you could have multiple sheets. Maybe on your spreadsheet, you want to keep data for your Block 1 students separate from your Block 2 students. So maybe your first sheet is just your Block 1 students, and your second sheet is your Block 2 students. And your sheets could go on and on and on and on, just the same way as your rows and your columns. So once again, you will never run out of room on an Excel spreadsheet. But my things were just right in the first sheet, sheet 1. And so I'm going to click OK on that. And it doesn't look much different on the onset, but you will notice there are a few extra things up here that at first were grayed out, but now I have access to. And so I could add an address block or a greeting line, but what I actually want is to insert a merge field. And when I click that, it's going to show me, once again, those column headings. That's why it's so important that your data headings are across the top of the column. And so what I want to do is I want to highlight this right here. and I want to insert the student's first name. Now, if I want the last name, just as if I were typing it, I'm going to hit a space first and then insert the student's last name. So now that information will be filled in, but I have some more. And so I'm going to go right here. Now, this was the how many points they grew in literacy. So once again, with that highlighted, I just go right back up, and I'm looking for growth in literacy. And this is how I labeled mine. So I know this is language arts, fall to spring growth. There I go. It looks like it's going to take up a whole bunch of room. If you're concerned, what you can do is come up to preview results. When you click that, you can see exactly how much room it's going to take up. And now you can even see the names that I've inserted. I can leave it on preview view, or I can take the preview view off and see where my inserts are. It's really just your preference. I'm going to leave it like this, and I'm going to come back to this one. And this one is my math growth. So I just go right back up to insert field, and I go to math growth, and there it is. And I can come right here. Here's my literacy fall, insert literacy fall. Here's my winter, insert literacy winter. Here's my spring, insert literacy spring. Math, I'm going to insert my fall math. Insert my winter math, and insert my spring math. All right. Oh, and I wanted to personalize it just a little bit more right here with their first name. So I'm just going to put the first name and then a space right there. Okay, so no more plus signs, and my form letter looks really good, but you might be concerned that it's only doing it for Mickey Mouse. Remember, we're just on a preview. So when I turn that off, you can see those are really just inserted fields. But on the preview, you can see Mickey Mouse's, and everything looks great. We are almost done with our form letter, and we will have one for each student. The next step is you want to go to finish and merge. I highly recommend that you do not finish and merge to a printed document. That sends it directly to the printer without you viewing it or seeing things that might just need to be looked over. I highly recommend you always finish and merge to edit the individual documents. That way, if someone's name is just a little too long, you can change the font, or if there's an error in one of the students, you'll see it before you send it to the printer. So finish and merge, edit individual documents. Now, it's asking me, do I want it to edit all the documents? Yes. Or I could do just the current record, which is Mickey Mouse, or I could pick which ones I want to do. I'm just going to go ahead and do all of them. I want you to notice something when I click OK, though. If you notice on this paper, I'm on page 1 of 1, and this is called form letter. I want you to see how it's going to be different after I click OK. All right. The first thing you notice is it's 1 of 6. Now that's because I had 6 students entered. If you had 260 students entered, this would say 1 of 260. The next thing I want you to notice is this says letters 1. So we're no longer on the form letter. And then the more obvious thing I need you to notice is it's not just one page for Mickey Mouse anymore. We have a page for Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, Goofy Dog, Captain Hook, and Chicken Little. You can also notice as I scroll through that all the points are different. And so this is pulling right from that spreadsheet, Remember I told you to pay attention to the page numbers and the title. It's because I wanted you to realize that when I clicked OK, it didn't do that in the same document I was working on. It opened a completely new document. And so this document is not mail merged. When I go to mailings, there is no preview. Those things are not there. This is just a document with several copies in the same document. If I set this down, you can see that my original form letter is right here with that page 1 of 1. So you'll have your form letter, and then you'll also have your merged copies. And that's really all it is. As I said, you might want to go back through and just look before printing. So right here, 1 points wouldn't be grammatically correct anymore. So it's as easy as changing that to point. Notice everything else stays the same because I'm no longer in a merged document. This document has already been merged. And so I can go ahead and hit print. Now I can save this with the multiple copies if I want, or you can just close it and then you still have this one. This is what you'd probably want to save. So as you update your data, this will update. And once again, it's as easy as hitting finish and merge and edit individual documents. So we've done one mail merge in Word already, and we're only a few minutes into the tutorial, so not bad, not bad. I'm going to go ahead and close all of this so that we can go back and do another one. This time I want to do the mail merge in Publisher. It's just a little bit different, but it really kind of works the same. And so once again, we're starting with our spreadsheet and whatever we want to merge into. And so what I want to merge into this time is the award. So I've already got my spreadsheet. It already has all the information in it that I'm going to need for my award. This is actually something I do with my classes. At the end of each year, I have the students decide a class award for each person in the class. And so they'll get into groups and decide good awards for each one. And they give me the name of the award for each of their class members. And so I just add it in to my data spreadsheet. And then when I go to make awards, it's this easy. I want to make sure I have my spreadsheet with the information in it. I'm going to go ahead and close that spreadsheet. And I'm going to open what I want it merged into, which is my award. This is what the award looks like. And so notice I use those same symbols, the plus sign. I like those just because it really draws my eyes to where I need to merge information. So now I'm in Publisher, and this time when you want to merge, you go to Tools, Mailings and Catalogs, and Mail Merge. This one will even take you through a little tutorial as you're going through. So notice we're on step 1 of 3, and it's asking you the same question that we answered in Microsoft Word, which do you want to use an existing list? And yes, we have an existing list. And so we're going to keep it on that. And then right down here, you just hit next. It's going to ask you just like it did in Word to pull up that list. So I'm going to go back to my desktop and go back to my mail merge folder. Let's see if I can find it. There it is. Okay, and then I'm going to go right back to my spreadsheet. So I'm connecting back to that spreadsheet, and I click open. It's once again asking me which sheet on the spreadsheet do you want to use. All of my information is on sheet 1. Notice I didn't point this out the last time, but this was on it the last time. The first row of data contains column headers. That's how it knows what the name of each column is and that you're going to merge from that. So once again, stressing the importance of when you set up your spreadsheet in Excel, that first row, row 1, needs to be your headers. So then I'm going to click OK. Now it lets me see each one that I have. So for some reason, maybe I started my spreadsheet at the beginning of the year and Chicken Little was part of my class, but now Chicken Little isn't. I can go ahead and take Chicken Little off, and I'll just get merges for these 4. So I'm going to click OK. And now, instead of having that insert merge field, it pulls it up right over here. So once again, all I'm going to do is highlight where I want. This is where I want the student's first name. If I want, I do the same thing, and I can add the student's last name. I'm going to come to my next set of pluses, and this time I want to add in their award. So from their class award. And then the other thing I want to point out to you on this is how anything that can be filled in, I've already filled in. For example, if it's something that you need to sign, I would get a digital copy of your signature and go ahead and add it in so that you don't have to spend time after you've printed all of these going back through and signing them. The other thing, even if you wanted to personalize your own signature, that's great. But the date is something you don't need to spend your time sitting and writing and writing and writing and writing. So as much as can be filled in, that's the same for everyone. Make sure it's already on your document, and then MailMerge will help personalize everything else. So now that we have this, we can come right back down here, and the next is create a merged publication. So I'm going to go right into, I'm ready to print it. And it's asking me those same options as Word did. Do I want to send it directly to the printer? Do I want to merge to a new publication? Or do I want it to add it to something that's already existing? I'm highly recommending you always go back to this merge to new publication and do not send it directly to the printer. All right, so here it is. I have Mickey Mouse Award. Mickey is a good listener, and he's part of our Team 33. As soon as I hit print, I am done with these awards. I don't have to spend more time going in and working with it. And if you notice, I now have 4 pages on my document. And so once I hit print, I'm completely done for all my students. Same thing as with the last one when we did it in Word. It pulled up a new publisher page with 4 documents in it. And so if I set this down, my original one that I'm merging is still right here. So I would highly recommend always saving the one with 1 page that has all your merging in it. So as you update your spreadsheet, you can come in here and easily go back and print these off. If you prefer to save the ones that you've got of all the students, just in case you need to come back and grab another copy of one, well, then that's not a problem either. It's whatever works best for you. So I will leave this tutorial with letting you know that merging takes a little bit of practice. So you might want to watch the video a couple of times, maybe watch it once just from beginning to end, and then pull up a spreadsheet, pull up a document that you want to merge into and just try it. I will also try to include my sample spreadsheet and documents. So if you want to try it right with these, go for it. But keep the tutorial handy so that you might try it now, but then you might not need it for a couple of months. And so you can rewatch the video in a couple of months and kind of get you started back on it. The more you merge, the better you'll get at it, and the easier things will get for you. So with that said, as always, don't forget, if you need any additional help, you're always more than welcome to contact me at mccainm@franklinschools.org. So happy merging.